What's up, guys? Welcome to episode...
What's up, guys?
And, well...
What kind of sexist shit
dude,
is that?
I was going to announce it later, okay? Just wait a
sorry,
second,
all right,
John.
all
All right,
right.
take two. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 82 of the Movie Schmovie podcast. That's got to make the cut, by the way.
Right.
This is our 82nd episode, like I just said.
82.
It comes after 81.
What?
And this episode is going to be a really exciting one because we're talking about one of my favorite movies of the year. I just said that. And we're also going to be talking about a list of films that happen to be some of my favorite movies of all time. And that would be The Spectacular Now is the film.
Yes.
And the genre is teen films.
Absolutely.
But to start us off, let's kind of just talk about this movie, Spectacular Now, which is currently in a limited release across the country, rolling out to a wider release over the probably next couple weeks. But this is a movie that is a, I don't know, teen rom-dram with a little bit of com, maybe.
No Zom.
No Zom, not in this one. Maybe in the director's cut. Right. I'm waiting for that one.
Sometimes.
Yeah, so I don't know. You
could argue that Kyle Chandler was playing sort of a zombie, but not quite. But yeah, Spectacular Now. But before we get to the movie The Spectacular Now, we might want to talk about what's going on in the Movie Schmovie headquarters.
That right now is kind of
this
spectacular
now. Exactly right.
We have a guest.
That's right, we do.
Some old school Movie Schmovie listeners may remember her from, I don't know what episode it was.
Such episodes as something, and
I
another.
believe it was 12.
Oh, she's obviously looked it
Because
up.
I listened to it today.
She definitely caught up on herself and said, what did I do good?
Yeah.
And what did I do great? Let me do them again is probably how she thought of it, knowing her. But yeah, Lauren, friend of mine, Ronald's.
Hello.
Recently of John's. She's
Yes.
been a couple times at some screenings.
They got your write-in. You demanded me back. They knew.
No, we actually had a lot of people write in and say keep her away for at least like 70-some episodes, and I think we just crossed that threshold where we're legally allowed to bring her back.
The triumphant return.
Yeah.
I'm back.
She's usually the conversation and we bring her in for like horror movies, I think was what we did last time, right?
Yes, but I too was a teenager.
Weird.
I actually thought about that.
Very unique.
I actually thought about that in relation to this episode, which is that this will be the first list we've made like this where we haven't all been villains.
Right.
We haven't all, been some of these other things, but we've all been teenagers. So it definitely, write what you know, review what you know as well.
Yeah.
But I was just going to say that when you said to me, what do you think about having Lauren come in?
Yeah.
Do you think maybe she could talk about movies with us? And I thought to myself, all I've ever seen Lauren do is hang around in a parking lot after we've watched the movie and shout about the movie. So I have a feeling she's got opinions about movies. It'd be pretty interesting.
I do. And my area of expertise is not just horror movies.
Right.
Though that is my fave.
Yes.
But
That's exactly.
We may have to
I'm
come
ready
around to
for
that
this.
in a few months, but for right now, it's the teen genre.
Yes, the teen genre. So before we get into the general genre, let's talk a little bit about Spectacular Now, which, Ronald, have you seen Spectacular Now?
Fuck no. This is what makes me mad. So, just to give you a little backstory, I recently got a new job, and it pretty much shut down the last 2 months of my life, and I haven't been able to do much. So, I've been missing all the good movies that they've been going to see, and listening to them.
I don't remember taking Elmo with us to the theater, did
That's
we?
what you guys sound
Oh,
like
is that what it was?
when you talk about movies that I haven't
Do
seen.
you hear everybody in Elmo
I
voice?
think so.
Because John and I sound nothing alike.
Right.
It just all filters in as Elmo.
That's what it all sounds like to me.
Well, you're about to hear three people recommend a movie to you, Ronald.
Okay.
I think we all really love The Spectacular Now. Is that right?
Now that was spectacular.
Oh.
I had to do that for Ronald.
So what
Yeah,
about you,
so
Lauren?
I don't. What?
I was just going to throw it to her.
Take it, Lauren.
I liked it. I wouldn't say I loved it. I liked
Hold
it.
on a second. Ronald, I take that back.
2 out of 3.
I would recommend it
Nope.
for sure.
Nope, you've already
I'm gonna
said it.
say
We
4.5
can't change that,
stars. No, 4.5 stars. My one complaint, well, I don't want to give too much away about the movie, but I did have a complaint, which I told you already, was that nobody in this boy's life seemed to, none of the adults in his life seemed to catch on to the fact that he had a serious problem, which I kind of feel like maybe is realistic in a family that doesn't care, but his mom did seem to care about him. So I don't know why she never caught on that he had this problem. And then also when he started
You don't
dating,
have to be too cagey, I don't think, because I think in the first scene of the movie you can tell this kid is
Yeah.
he's like he's like a party guy, but there's a sign. You see that it's not just when other people are around. It's
Right.
like, and we in fact see him carry around like a big gulp cup
Right.
throughout the whole movie. That he's constantly spiking. So in that sense, he seems like a very casual drinker to be such a young man.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Are we to think that his mom maybe just was too busy? Yeah.
But there were lots of other adults in his life too that they seemed like they noticed, but then didn't do anything. But that's my only complaint.
Except for his boss eventually, Dan, the tie suit guy. When he
works at like a
with
men's
him.
clothing store, and his boss has a sort of a compassionate relationship with
Right.
him, but it's not quite father figure, so he doesn't really overstep those bounds.
Everyone in his life seemed to be okay with it, even to the point when he started dating Shailene Woodley.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she
That's
did
her
not,
name?
Her real name.
I never knew that.
In the movie, it was Amy.
Yeah.
Amy?
Yeah.
But she didn't even. I mean, she kind of seemed to adapt to his lifestyle, whereas I thought maybe she would be the one to like pull him out of his. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
No.
But in a weird way, I think that was a little surprise that the movie had for me, was that instead of, it would have almost seemed kind of after-school special-ish if she had sort of been like such a great influence on
True.
him. The fact that he was able to kind of negatively influence her was, I mean, I kept expecting things to get much worse than they actually did. I mean, so
Yeah.
often with these types of movies, I expect it to get really grim, and this movie kind of flirts with that, but it never quite goes into that really dark.
right. It like almost did.
Yeah.
I think it's actually one of the things I liked about the movie is the fact that what you would go in predicting to happen or saying, like, I would expect these adults to have more involvement, or I would expect this girl to be the one that breaks him out based on maybe other, like, just other expectations for other teen movies that you've seen. Like, that doesn't happen, I think, is what I actually like the most about this movie, because I think that's kind of what makes this feel like a different kind of teen film overall, because it's cliche to say like a lot of these movies feel more real because a lot of filmmakers are obviously most times going for that. But I think the idea that a kid can exist and be the kid that everybody loves, that a lot of people could be unaware of why it is that they try so hard to be that person that's loved by everybody because they're missing something else, or they're numbing something else with, in his case, alcohol, or you know what I mean? Like some things are just masked well enough. And in Amy's case, we actually talked about it after we saw it together, Lauren, and we were saying that, that why did she go along with everything that he did? You know, why was she okay with drinking, and why did she start drinking?
Well, didn't she seem kind of sheltered, and like maybe to her this was an exciting.
That's exactly that's what my take on it was. Is that
and it was
this
also
is
kind of a first love. It almost
the
seemed
guy
like,
that just
with
like
her,
kind of
you know?
shook her world up and exposed to her a lot of things that, she never really experienced, or never, and in her own words, never thought she deserved. Like flat out saying that guys don't look at me like that, and that's like one of the great scenes in the movie, I think, is, and totally guys do. Like I just saw guys do that. It's just a really great experience for her, and you can see in that moment why she's just so taken by him, and I think that's why she overlooks a lot of the things that you'd expect a character to be, oh, I'm going to snap him out of that, and it's not really her that does, you know what I mean? Maybe she has an impact on him, and you definitely believe she does, but it's, I think, other moments in the movie that really kind of snap him out, or at least to become aware of what his real problem is, and not what he blames like his mom for, blames other things in his life on.
Well, I mean, the movie really sets him up to be one of those people that you see them, and every time you see them, you're at a party, and they seem like they're having a great time, and eventually you realize, wait, that person, maybe they think the same thing about you, but that person, them as a a party dweller kind of thing, and you think about, well, is that person, you know what I mean? Sometimes you get that snapshot into that person's life, and you see that, oh, they're pretty much acting the same way the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and I'm seeing them every week. But this never stops for them. I thought they did a good job of kind of depicting just how automatic
I know somebody like that.
his alcoholism was. You're not supposed to talk about me like I'm not here, Ronald.
So crazy. That's weird.
But doesn't it make you feel? You almost feel bad
Yeah.
for that person. But at the same time, they're
I
usually.
call him Peter Pan.
And what I love about this character is they're also usually very magnetic, kind of charismatic people on the face of it. If you just met him once, you would be like, "Who was that guy?" It was so fun. And I think that we haven't really spoken of him specifically, but Miles Teller, who plays the lead in this
Sutter.
film, Sutter Keeley, was. I mean, I haven't seen him in anything else that I remember, so he was just. It was just like a fully formed character on screen that I believed, and it's you see that type of performance only so often, and
Sure.
I wouldn't say he carried the movie because there was so much good acting in it, but you really had to believe this guy who was fun to be around and yet had a darkness to him, but wasn't kind of a mopey guy, and then you had to believe that there's some really emotional moments where, like you said, Steve, where the kind of mask comes down. I thought it was really great that they showed that, that idea of that person that everyone loves, but they haven't really figured out for themselves how they feel about themselves.
Absolutely.
It's really kind of, I don't know, I thought it was really touching. And I like that they kept the story small, that it didn't try to set up some huge, which is actually a huge pet peeve of mine with teen films, is that so many of these movies, they play up these teen dramas to be these huge, larger than life things, and in the movie they're resolved. And if you grow up and you look back, you realize that when you were 18, 19, whatever, the paint wasn't dry on you yet. Yeah. And I like that this movie sells the unresolved nature. The end of it is very much like these kids. We can't even begin to believe we've seen what happens to them yet. Yeah. I thought that was really interesting.
I think some of the reviews I had been reading, I guess some issues that people had. I guess some of the big moments, like the big scenes that you do expect from teen movies, even the more dramatic ones like this, is in that year of high school. It's usually the senior year, and they usually have the first kiss or losing their virginity or
first kiss in senior year, Steve.
Oh, that's what happens sometimes, John. Some people save themselves in more than one way. But I mean,
so you were listening to like Backstreet Boys and stuff like all alone.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens, John. You got to find the right person.
That's worse. That's worse than Fievel singing Somewhere Out There. That's so sad.
Well, that was on my playlist too. When I was burning my mixed discs, that was on there too. But
I made tapes.
Yeah, so you were before me a little bit.
Yeah,
I had the mixed, the CDRs. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I remember when those arrived. I knew a guy with a CDR, and he would like charge you like $50 to burn something.
That guy was me. Yeah. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. But that those moments in this film, like I said, like the kiss or the losing their virginity or the prom or the graduation, they're not really played up big in this movie. They're definitely things happening at the scenes that almost overshadow the actual experience in some ways. They're very gradual, they're very natural, and they are just a part of this like ride of that little snapshot of these two characters that we see over the course of whatever it is, a month or weeks or a couple months that it was. That they're all just the moving parts of this bigger thing, which is like understanding what this Sutter character really is, and seeing how even through his personal problems, he in some other way has affected another character in a very positive way, even through some pain, physical, emotional pain, and that has really allowed Amy's character to be something that she never really thought she could or should be, based on her life before Sutter, or even like her expectations of what she really like kind of owed her mom. There's an early scene in the movie when one of the first things that they're talking to one another, when she finds Sutter on her front lawn, and he agrees to drive around delivering papers with her. And she's actually doing it to help her mom. And she's like she's a teenager, a very responsible girl who's pulling her own weight when she really should be out experiencing some of the things that Sutter brings into her life. And it's a kind of a cool exchange, because him saying like to her, that's crazy. Like, you're taking care of your mom. Like, she should be taking care of you. Like, that's his expectation. But hers is obviously a very different life. But the way that they kind of coexist off of each other from that point on, I think allows both to benefit in different ways, both, emotionally. And in her case, just like her worldview, I think completely changes.
Well, she's so much more interesting as a character because she doesn't get preachy with him, and because she doesn't view him as some project and somebody she's trying to fix, which would again be a very familiar story,
Right.
Yeah, it's huge, because like she's not judging him at all, and she doesn't really ever talk down to him about a lot of these things. Like, if anything, she's more encouraging of him in moments of like weakness, like when they go to visit his dad. She's almost like, she's not judging him because of what she's really seeing or what he's just realized. She's basically, almost at times it seems almost like pitiful, or at least to me, I reacted a little bit like that when they're in that car, and she's like basically begging him, and he's like, "Do you see yourself? Like, you don't. I'm bad for you." And it's just a really cool moment when you see how far she's come to basically keep him in her life, and he's almost realizing that he can't be in her life if she's to be what she really should be, and go to Philadelphia for this school and everything that she never thought she, could afford or or be able to do because of other responsibilities that she had.
Yeah.
Just a really great film that I loved. And I'd really only seen one other film from the director, James Ponsoldt, that was a big festival film last year, which was Smashed, with Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad, and actually Mary Elizabeth Winstead was in it as well, who's in this film as Sutter's
she's got a nice
sister.
Small part, yeah.
But another film that has like a really big theme dealing with alcoholism, and I mean, I don't know if it's a theme that kind of he uses to kind of use a lot of, to develop his characters and to kind of have an arc. But that's that film was I was a fan of. But I mean, The Spectacular Now is like next level to me in his in his display as a filmmaker. But I mean, just it's gonna maybe 10 years from now, I think myself, like, this movie might fall into a list that if we were to talk about this conversation is going to follow, it may find a place. I mean, because
I kept being tempted to say, I'm just going to go ahead and say Spectacular Now is one of my favorite teen movies.
It feels like a different kind of teen movie to me. Like, it almost feels like a 2.0 kind of thing. If it caught on, I don't know that it will in terms of box office or like finding a true audience, because it's not that predictable teen movie, or it's not that feel good movie like some of the ones that we would probably mention a little later in this podcast. But it's the kind of movie that I think is a lot more relevant, like with the way that, not that kids didn't have problems back in the 80s and 90s, but I think this generation is a lot different now, and in a lot of different environmental, societal, like just different factors that kind of pour into their lives. It's just making a different kind of teenager, and I think this movie kind of addresses that kind of modern teenager. Yeah. That I don't think I've ever really seen as committed in a film before on film.
It felt natural in that way that, like, people break up, but they still are sort of friends, and of course you're showing up at the same parties, so you have to deal with people, and it just kind of felt like it was both something that was kind of familiar to me in the fact that it seemed realistic, but it did feel to me, and I was sort of thinking, I wonder if this feels accurate to a 17-year-old living today. But to me, it felt like it was depicting a kind of a more contemporary view of what kids are actually like, which is to say that they're not all totally like debauched horn dogs running around, breaking every rule, but they're also very casual about some of these things that in past years might have been a bigger deal, like just the kind of casual drinking and all that kind of stuff.
I did think that part was realistic, like the kids' interaction with each other, how you just said they're like so casual about stuff. Like, I mean, not to sound too old or anything, but when I hear kids that are like 16, 17 talking about sex and talking about that kind of stuff, and then I'm thinking, like, did I talk like that when I was 16 or 17? Like, no, I don't really think I did. I feel like they're like progressing, like aging faster than we did. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just...
Well, I think that every generation probably can look back and feel that way, but that it's in context. Do you know what I mean? That like that what they were doing, it's like it's a different degree of the same thing. But yeah, that I don't know. It's tough to know. It's tough to relate. And I definitely thought about that a lot with trying to pick the movies, because it's like you can grade a teen movie based on how much it depicts what you think is like the real experience versus the movies that maybe you loved when you were a teenager that you wanted to kind of stick yourself into then. Sure. Because a lot of the movies, it's almost like a wish fulfillment thing to be in that world where the good guy wins, or the right guy gets the girl, or the bully gets defeated or whatever. But now it's like or the right girl gets the guy. See, there we go. But like, I think that there's that weird element of were teen movies that I loved when I was a kid. I remember my dad used to come in and say like, ugh, the adults are all idiots in these movies. And I was like, yeah, but that's kind of the point. That's kind of why they're teen movies. But then you see the ones where the adults are allowed to be a little bit more real. And I do think that feels like a step in the right direction. Sure. But, oftentimes that's when you're saying, is this really a teen movie, or is this more of a kind of drama? A drama, Because again, the adults in The Spectacular Now, there's not really much to admire there, but they do feel real, and they do feel like they have their own bullshit. And even the dude's dad, who's probably like the worst snapshot of a character that we get, even he seems to have this weird, he's kind of defeated, and he just seems real. And like, I swear that Kyle Chandler must have like stayed up the night before smoking a pack of cigarettes, because his voice had that dry rasp that someone who's just burned out has. I thought he was great.
I love him, and mostly anything that he's ever been in.
But I thought it was neat to see him play a slightly more debauched twist. I've seen him play like good men who are compromised, or guys who are frustrated, but I've never seen him play someone who was that just sleazy and manipulative. And I mean, that scene where his son goes to meet him was just like
heartbreaking.
And you really feel
it's so uncomfortable
the way her protective feelings towards him really kick in that scene too. That she really wants to kind of get him away from this guy in a sense. But so, Ronald, do you want to go see Spectacular Now?
You told me the whole fucking plot of the movie. So.
Oh, you don't even know what happens.
Oh, I don't even know.
Tell me what happens.
You don't know what happens when they find the body. I mean,
China.
A bunch of spectacular shit happens to these young teenagers. Right?
Like what?
Love. And then she's like, I'm not that pretty. And then she puts something on that lifts her boobs up a little bit. He's like, "You're so pretty. I love you."
Actually,
That sounds like the goddamn movie.
you
to
had
me.
something and then you kind of lost
Yeah,
it.
you
because-
lost it.
Yeah.
We didn't give enough to you. You were almost there.
Okay.
No, I think that it's so much more of a character piece than it is a plot thing that you may think you know, but even knowing,
You think you know.
forget what you know or
have
what
no-
you think you
You
know.
have no idea.
Well, Ronald, would you like to talk about a teen movie that you have seen?
Okay, so I picked a weird one.
Really?
Shocker.
Is this our transition to the
No.
teen list?
Okay.
I guess
so-
we are. We're transitioning.
So
into teen.
do your teen movies have to meet a checklist? Like, was it made for under $3 million?
No.
Is it in a foreign language?
Ronald took teen
Was it-
movies to mean that it was filmed in the 1900s.
Oh, is that what it was?
So this is a weird one because it is not. It is a mix of a teen movie and a horror movie, and it just
There's a lot of wind.
together.
It was a Twister.
So, yeah.
Twister.
My first pick is The Faculty.
Ooh.
Nice job, Ronald.
So because the reason I chose it was because the dynamic between all the friends was really cool, and it could have been just a movie about a bunch of teenagers. But then when shit got crazy, when things started attacking, whatever this thing was taking over these teenagers, I thought it was a great movie.
I'm a fan of that movie.
Yeah,
I dig it.
It was a cool. I don't
What
know.
a great soundtrack.
Definitely good
How about
soundtrack.
that?
Great teenage / horror, and I don't have anything else on that list like
Slash
this.
sci-fi.
/ sci-fi. But yeah,
Wait, so you knew about sci-fi in '99?
here's the thing.
I thought you
didn't-
just learned about
I didn't
sci-fi
know
with
what they
Oblivion.
called it. I know. What
Oh,
they
it
called
wasn't called sci-fi then.
Yeah, I
They
knew
just
that.
renamed it in 2013.
The opposite of real is what I call it.
It was just fiction at that point.
What would I call the opposite of real?
I think it's called fiction. or
Dot ellipses.
You know what they actually used to call it before it was called science fiction was speculative fiction? That's what Ronald called it. Speculative
Spec-fi.
fiction.
the opposite of real ellipses with magic. So, the faculty is my first pick. That movie stuck with me, man, and it's weird because like I'd seen a bunch of teenage movies before and after, but something about that movie stuck with me. It was something about the Elijah Wood, Usher. Come on.
that's the only cast you need to be concerned with.
It was
Do
something-
not
Elijah
forget to
Wood-
mention Josh Hartnett.
Yeah.
Don't worry, ladies. I gotcha. Josh Hartnett, beautiful.
What, you mean Elijah Wood and
What
Usher
about,
aren't
what about
heartthrobs?
Jordana Brewster,
Yeah,
guys? I mean,
gents.
come on.
Jordana
Oh man,
Brewster.
George.
What about Jon Stewart?
What about the T-1000, Mr. Robert Patrick?
He's great in everything, by the way, even Lovelace. So there that goes.
way to slip that one in there.
So that's my first pick.
All right.
The Faculty.
Well, Lauren?
Lauren?
All right. So, I have a theme for mine, and all of my picks had to have a strong female cast.
Ooh.
So, my first pick,
Do you have something in your eye?
yes, I definitely do.
Is it a tear?
It's okay. No, it's not a
Okay,
tear.
no crying aloud.
My first pick is kind of dark from 1988, Heathers.
Okay.
And I love this movie. I probably did not see it when it first came out because I would have been like 6 or 7. But I remember when it would come on VH1 and I would sneak because I was not allowed to watch that kind of thing. And I just remember loving it. And then I would, I'd watch it over and over again. And then once I was actually old enough to like really understand that high school dynamic, I was like, there are some girls that I would like to make drink bleach. And that would be great. And I just absolutely love that movie. I think that Winona Ryder and Christian Slater have like total fun chemistry together, and it's completely unrealistic and crazy, but I liked it. It was a nice dark comedy.
Cool.
I love
Winona
Heathers.
Ryder.
That is a movie that
I stole it before Steve could say it.
I do randomly see that. It was on my short list, but it's like definitely that movie that I catch on TV sometimes. Although when you catch it on like a network station, I feel like it's like when they edit it down for content.
They edit off the part where
Yeah.
Christian Slater's finger gets shot off.
Right.
They cover it up.
They got to make it good for
They
TV.
should have
though.
kept
They
that
do.
shit in there.
Good pick. I got to get this out of the way first because this was the sure thing probably. There's two sure things, but this is the sure thing, and that was it's Say Anything. Cameron Crowe. What is it? I don't even.
Not to be confused with
89.
the actual movie, The Sure Thing.
Right, that did not
Which
make
also
my list.
starred John Cusack, didn't it?
It did actually, yeah, and I don't know the girl's name though, but it's not that movie though. So let's just I'm not even talking about that movie.
All right, no. You don't want to buy anything bought, sold, or processed.
That's my life. I mean, that's kind of like that's my motto for life, pretty much. Lloyd Dobler, I think, is probably one of the most iconic characters in film for me personally ever. I think John Cusack was a star when I was younger. Obviously, I didn't see this when I was 8 years old, but as a teenager watching this movie over and over again, I can remember one summer where I watched every John Cusack movie because of my exposure to Say Anything. I just love John Cusack, but more importantly, I love his character in this film. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I try to model my life when I was in high school.
Lloyd Dobler.
On Lloyd Dobler. I feel like he's the guy that's just nice. He's a nice guy. He has no enemies. He just wants good stuff for him and the people around him.
He sounds like a model citizen.
But I mean,
Steve, are you talking about you or Lloyd Dobler?
No, Lloyd, you're confused, John. Lloyd Dobler.
All right.
The movie Say Anything.
Right. Is that why you were out in front of my house with a boombox earlier?
Yeah. The batteries were dead though, so But I don't know. Everyone knows Say Anything. I'm not going to gush over it too much. I just think a lot of iconic moments in the film. I mean, even talking about, I guess some of the, not that this was the most realistic teen movie, but I mean even kind of getting into these guys the father and his how her dad wasn't this great guy, and her realizing that it kind of had that little bit of a dark. That grounding moment in the movie that not a lot of movies have or had, at least that I had seen at that point in my life. And I mean, for her to really for the possibility of the hero to not only be the guy she's in love with and that she's not supposed to love, and to realize that, it's okay to not do what your father expects you to do because, you're going to make decisions that are your own, just like he has. Unfortunately, they didn't go as well for him, but just such a romantic movie. I think for all the love that Ryan Gosling gets it from the ladies for The Notebook. I feel like before Noah, there was Lloyd, and I think that forever Lloyd Dobler will be the ultimate male teen movie, rom-com, whatever you want to deem it. Say Anything is one of my favorite movies of all time, so it absolutely has to make this list.
See, favorite movie of all time. It's funny for me, when I was thinking about teen movies, it was hard for me to say whether I was going to go towards movies that were the best movies of the bunch, or the ones that had the biggest impact on me when I was a teenager. And I had to fall somewhat. My inner 13-year-old was like, you got to name some of these movies that you loved when you were an actual teenager.
Yeah.
Kind of back to what I was saying before, but it was a strange thing because when I was growing up, it was, teen movie was pretty much synonymous with John Hughes.
Yeah, totally.
So to me, a John Hughes movie is kind of the template. And even now when movies that aren't John Hughes movies, which it'd be strange if there were any because he's been gone for a while. But for a while there were still, he kind of got out of that. He was writing lots of other screenplays. I don't know. There were a lot of movies he did that I haven't seen or I wasn't that interested in seeing. But for a while there, and it's interesting to note that it's a couple of movies a year. Ferris Bueller's Day Off came out in 1986. So did Pretty in Pink. Some Kind of Wonderful was the next year. So, I mean, he had a run there where it was, clearly a lot of his scripts were either he was writing them very quickly or they were getting turned around. He didn't direct all of them.
Right.
And in fact, the movie that I'm kind of building up to here is a movie that he didn't direct, that he just wrote the screenplay for. But it's one that it had such an impact on me when I was a kid. I have to give props to Pretty in Pink.
Okay.
Aww.
Not just because of the movie itself, but the soundtrack was one of those ultimate, and I almost think this might be a theme with a lot of these movies.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Teen movies tend to have good soundtracks.
Totally.
And I don't know, again, I'm not trying to say he invented the idea, but John Hughes was maybe one of the first directors to really take his personal musical taste and kind of inject it with, he had a good ear for all these new wave hits that were coming out in the 80s. And so there were all these bands that I remember them well because I liked the Pretty in Pink soundtrack or I liked the Some Kind of Wonderful soundtrack, but they're bands that I don't know anything else about them at all, except that they were on these soundtracks. Mm-hmm. Now, some of those, there's the song If You Leave by Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. I hear that song, and I like
that you said the full name.
I could have said OMD.
OMD, I tried to cut you off with it.
Well, but that song just triggers this weird response in me, this weird kind of emotional response where I feel like I didn't turn out to be the man I thought I'd be when I was 13. But, that's a different podcast. I think that there's also this element of that weird kind of outsider sensibility that a lot of teen movies tap into, and John Hughes was, maybe one of the best at it, of presenting a character like the character of Andy in Pretty in Pink, who actually, you sort of look at her from a present day perspective, and she seems like she would be cool. Like the fact that she's kind of quirky and weird, and she makes her own clothes and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't seem like it would be as much of a liability now. So even when I was a kid, I always thought that rang a little false, that these people are individualistic, but they seem kind of cool. But I guess there are giant high schools where that type of person would just be, be seen as too much of a weirdo. But I think that movie played on that idea, and then the character of Ducky. It's so funny now when you watch Pretty in Pink, though. Ducky plays very much like if that movie was being made now, everyone would know that Ducky was a closeted homosexual, right? But I wanted to dress so much like Ducky. I wanted the girl that I love to work in a music shop so that I could go in there and lip sync a song for her and whatever. I mean, it's like it didn't even dawn on me that he doesn't get the girl.
Don't give up
like
on your dreams, John.
when I was
It could
patterning,
happen.
I could do it. But what was funny was it made me like all my granddad's old suit coats and
That's
stuff.
not how you got your wife?
Well, that's another story for another podcast.
Stood outside of her window with a
Yeah,
boombox,
yeah.
Steve. Your idea's been taken.
But I don't know. To me, that movie is only kind of marred by the fact that the way it ends.
Yeah.
It was a famous example of a test screening where the audience did not like the original ending, which was that Andy ends up with Ducky, and then there's this really weirdly contrived ending where it's totally rewritten just in the last scene, and like people's haircuts are different. You can tell they went back for a reshoot, and they come up with a way for Andy to end up with the Andrew McCarthy character, who's like the prep guy. Blaine. It's not a name; it's an appliance. But I feel like they kind of redeemed themselves, even though not as memorable of a movie, but has a lot of strong qualities to it. But Some Kind of Wonderful, which came out the following year, also written by John Hughes, also directed by Howard Deutsch. In that one, I would say they'd get it right.
I actually would place Some Kind of Wonderful above Pretty in Pink.
Yeah.
Some
Kind of Wonderful also has a great soundtrack. If you guys aren't out there, if you haven't listened to Flesh for Lulu in about 20 years, if you want to hear a song that sounds like 1987, Flesh for Lulu's I Go Crazy.
I actually listened to it earlier today, thanks to you.
It sounds like 1987, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's the one thing you pull out of the time capsule.
Yeah, right.
87.
But both of those movies are really endemic of that whole, and I would say the other thing that both those movies have is parents who are not like one-dimensional characters. In both of those movies, the parents that you get to see, they have their own issues going on, and the way that their kids are kind of evolving. The parents might not understand the kids, but they're not clueless idiots, and they're not the joke. It's all about how these kids have these separate lives, but
See what happened right now, Lauren. This is what I'm gonna start calling. We got Walkered, because what he does, he slips it in another movie.
Yeah.
When we have to pick three, he slips in in number 4. He's like, oh, pretty big. Oh, but Some Kind of Wonderful came out a year later. Same director, same blah, blah. Better soundtrack, or not a better, whatever. So you'll get used to
But
that.
I talk so
quick.
fast, Steve. I
I
cover them in.
Could you tell how fast I was trying to? I was trying to do
right.
my John Walker.
No,
I
That's
demand
what I saw.
another movie for all of us.
Yeah. For mine, fucking. I feel like this is just gonna be a John Hughes.
Oh, nice! I feel good
that-
now because I can cut some of these off.
Okay,
I'm calling
so-
some audibles.
So this movie.
That's
this
what I
movie,
did too, Steve. I'm trying to eliminate some John Hughes movies.
Not really a big fan of one-room movies, but 5 of the most charismatic characters in one room
You son of a bitch.
equal one of the best movies ever created, and that's Breakfast Club. So this movie did something for me that I had never really experienced. It was like, it was before I went to high school. I saw it in middle school, but it did something for me that a movie about teenagers had never done, where I could align with all these people in different ways. There were things about all these characters that I felt like were in me, because I was socially awkward in some ways. I was very social in others. I had a weird story because I grew up in a really bad area, but I moved to a really nice area. So I had like these 2 lives that didn't align with each other at all.
Yeah.
So I was in this nice area, and they'd be like, hey, so how was whatever? I was like, I didn't hear any gunshots last night, so that's great for me. And I had to get out of this mode where I was like awkward about that sort of thing, because I didn't feel comfortable, and kind of seeing these characters, it changed something for me. And I knew that like I could watch a movie that I could feel. So it was the first teen movie that I saw that I was like, man, this is this is a fucking amazing movie.
Well, the movie takes that teen angst and just wallows in. I mean, it just blows it
it
up.
does.
Like, it doesn't
They just
hide,
bitch about their
but
lives.
it doesn't hide from
in
the kind of
this-
melodramatic aspects of that. You know, like
Yeah.
it definitely shows, how important it all seems when you're that age.
Yeah. And Molly, I was in love with her.
Yeah.
So So Breakfast Club.
No, it's a great pick.
Yeah.
I think the big takeaway that I'm kind of in line with what you just said about. I feel like it was one of the first times I saw a movie where like there were 5 leads that were intentionally representing 5 different kinds of people that at the end you realize they were all at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody had a piece of the other in them, and that took that moment together to really understand that and to acknowledge that that was okay, that they each had the other 4, you know, like hiding somewhere that they weren't allowing to surface because they were supposed to be the jock, or I'm supposed to be the princess or whatever, or the badass or whatever. But they all had a lot more in common than they thought they did, which is something that, you know, you didn't always see in movies like that. And just in terms of what you could apply to your life, you're just like, I'm not really that different than that guy who is on the surface way different than me, but at the bottom of it all, we're pretty similar, which I think is Breakfast Club definitely.
I
drove that
actually,
point home.
I don't know where it is now. It's long gone. But I actually wrote several pages into a novel that was a sequel to the Breakfast Club when I was about
What?
13
What?
or 14.
Must
How do we
read.
track this
It was
down?
like
Do we need
Find
it was like the next Monday. I wanted to see like what would happen. Like, would they be friends? Would they like pass in the hall and pretend they didn't know each other and stuff? So I really wanted to see what would
Oh,
happen.
Do we have to take a field trip to your hometown?
I don't know. There's
Is
a
that-
box.
is it-
There's a box somewhere. I don't think that stuff
I
got
would
burned.
love
Is it
to
in this
read that.
house or in that down there?
But I don't remember if I was identifying with the Bender character or the Anthony Michael Hall. I can't remember which character. I feel like I wanted the Anthony Michael Hall character to like be the lead. So
Yeah.
maybe there was some. There was again. I don't know why. No, I think interesting thing about that movie is just it's another one with like a really memorable soundtrack, and it's
Yeah.
another one that just I remember feeling like I was not supposed. It's R, right? It was rated R.
I'm not
correct?
sure.
I feel like it has such harsh language in it for the time that it almost would have to
I
be
feel like
R.
that could be PG-13 though. Like I feel like PG-13 was kind of they could say fuck maybe once,
PG-13, you get one fuck, yeah.
but lots of shit. Ah shit. I was.
The silence is us looking up the rating.
I know, this is all of us looking up the rating. Because I just remember at the time it was like a movie for kids, but I felt like I wasn't supposed to see it yet. You know, it definitely had, like my parents weren't overly jazzed about me watching that movie, but they knew that it came on HBO and I was just dying to see it. So
Right.
they had to like watch it first, you know? And then it was, okay, John, you can watch that movie. But I just remember kind of what you guys are saying. It felt like it was just this window into this, a deeper approach to this type of story and like a deeper look at these types of characters. And there are things about it that can seem kind of, like I said, kind of melodramatic now, but when you think about who it's made for teenagers. And maybe that is the genius of John Hughes, is that he makes those movies and he doesn't apologize for how important it all seems when you're going through it.
Yeah.
Rated R for pervasive language,
Oh.
drug use, sexual content, crude content, and some violence.
I forgot about the panty thing. So maybe that does.
That doesn't happen in Breakfast Club. That is 16 candles.
No.
No,
There's a
the
panty
panty
shot. There's
He's-
a.
he's-
Oh.
Were they under the
I was
table?
talking about the underwear.
That
Oh,
was
no,
Lauren
no.
being wrong for anybody out there
No,
wondering
no,
if that
no.
happens.
It
No, but-
happens once.
But you're
in
talking
a-
about the extended panties
Oh, no.
gag.
Oh,
No.
okay. I thought you meant that.
It's like under the
Yeah.
Yeah.
table.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, this
It's
is
a Judd Nelson POV shot.
Yeah. I was like, man, this is too much for me.
That was Ronald's first exposure to POV shots.
Yeah.
It's taken a dark turn in his later years.
Right,
but
right. The world.
It wasn't
world
John
would
Carpenter's
never be the
Halloween
same.
that he saw it in. It was the
Oh,
Breakfast Club.
so great. That fucking movie.
I don't know why, but when I watch these movies that are like The Breakfast Club, that's like in one day, or like Ferris Bueller or Empire Records, that's all in one day, I like assume that they like all spent the whole day together and shot the whole movie in one take. I don't know why. That's like
It's
where
fun
my
to
brain
think like
goes.
that.
They just
Yeah.
wrap it up. They're like, all right, done. Good
job, guys.
Just
Right,
have
we
ice
got
cream.
this before the end of the sunset.
It
I
does
don't know.
seem like
It's-
that.
It feels that way, or it feels like you're with them.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's not in real time, but it's such a
It's so
short.
confined, yeah, it's almost like a play.
You know, you're right. It's such a short like time frame that I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
But
Like,
I
why
dig it.
couldn't they just shoot that all in one day? It's possible, right? I mean,
Totally. I mean, I could do
they're
it.
pros.
Yeah, right.
All right. Number
All right,
2.
My
Lauren.
next pick. Okay, so this one is probably the only one that I actually was a teenager when I saw it, and it is 1995's Clueless.
Oh.
And I love that movie still. It holds up for sure. I just watched it yesterday to make sure that it's still held up from the last time I watched it, probably 6 months ago.
What holds up about it?
It's still funny. I feel like since I loved it so much then, I still love the characters. You know, like you go back and watch some movies that you loved as a teenager or even a child and you're like, why did I like that so much? I'm not going to watch this anymore. Whereas this one, like, I make it to the end and I'm like, I still love this movie. Like, it still makes me smile at the end when she ends up happy and just all that stuff. But also, I wanted to be her. I wanted her closet.
That's it right there.
But when I first saw this movie, I was always like a girly girl when I was little, but I was going through this like skater phase where all I wanted to wear was band t-shirt and jeans and Vans. And that was my like uniform basically. But when I saw this movie, it was like a revelation. She was like a Carrie Bradshaw for the 90s and I was on board. I was like, I'm going to wear knee socks and plaid skirts and I'm not going to dress like this anymore.
So were you basically the Thai character?
I guess so. I guess that happened.
Wow.
We just realized this.
Boom.
That's productive right there.
I don't know, but yes. And also another movie that I think it had a good soundtrack. It was kind of like random, but like fun 90s music. Mighty Mighty Bosstones was on it. Luscious Jackson, Coolio.
Well, for its time, it was kind of a similar approach. It was like a lot of sort of, not quite underground, but they weren't necessarily radio bands, you know?
Right.
Like
yeah.
names, but not necessarily the, top of the pops.
Cool.
Yeah, or the song that like it might have been like somebody recognizable, but the song was not their hit song. It was like some other song. So there was a song when Ty's going through her transformation. It's called Supermodel. I have no idea who sings it, but
Jill Sabule.
Well,
there you go.
I love that song.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it when I was that age. I thought that was like I don't care. I want to be a supermodel. Like. So that's my pick.
Clueless. Great movie. Great movie.
Thank you, Ronald.
I think it holds up too.
Did you?
Because
Alicia
it's funny and it's kind of
Silverstone
satirical. I mean, it's got a...
and Stacey Dash still look amazing.
Who?
They do.
Alicia Silverstone.
Did you
and
know
Stacey
that
Dash.
Stacey Dash was like 27 when she made that movie?
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
Wow.
She's like,
And Alicia Silverstone, I think she was a teenager or maybe like just approaching her 20s. But
How old is Stacey
Stacey Dash is almost 50.
No.
Yeah,
no,
she is.
Ronald-
she's like 40.
She's like
Ronald,
gonna
you
guess
just threw a
45.
random ass number out
no,
there.
let's look her up.
45 to 47. I'm gonna
46
guess.
years old.
Yes, she's almost 50.
I'll give it to you. I'd round up.
I'm just saying.
Are you almost 34?
Pretty I mean, like, look at her. She still looks
She's gorgeous.
fucking amazing. Yeah.
Alicia Silverstone still looks good too, but
She does.
she's gone a little crazy.
It does.
Yeah.
Christina Applegate also has.
She wasn't included.
No. I'm just saying, like, people
Just
from
in
that
general.
era. That
Lauren, you know
keep
Ronald. This is...
Come on, what are you acting like that for, Lauren?
I'll go
I
left
thought you were
field.
used to this.
I'll go left field at any point. But yeah, she's all these. I can't believe that those two still look pretty. She went crazy. Alicia Silverstone. Went crazy?
Well, no, she's like baby bird feeding her child on YouTube. Like she's like super
You didn't see
vegan.
that? She put out a video where she's like chewing up the food and spitting it into her child's mouth.
and thinks it's
Ronald's
like,
kind of into that though.
And Ronald,
That's crazy.
her child's in middle school.
no, he's
No, I'm
not.
just-
He's probably like in kindergarten.
I got
should have
dizzy.
left it alone.
got so
you should have
dizzy.
left it there, John. You would have left this
I
evening.
got so dizzy.
I didn't want to break his brain any worse than it already is while we're recording.
I have one more Alicia Silverstone comment. How good did she look in the Aerosmith videos?
Oh, I know.
Back in the
Oh,
90s,
wow.
right? Did you just love her?
And how creepy was it though that Liv
She was
Tyler
like-
was also in those videos?
That's gross.
So my next pick is I'm gonna do this one now. I'm gonna go with the 1980s. Again, part of this is maybe movies that would make my all-time favorite list if I was going outside of a genre. Another movie I didn't see till years after it came out, and you may give me shit for this, John, but I mean I think I can make a case for it.
Oh, I know I may give you shit.
It's the 1986 coming-of-age drama comedy Stand By Me.
Oh no.
Oh wow.
So you'll allow it.
The only reason I didn't know about this one was this is how I got into this. I was like, I don't know the ages of these characters. I don't know if they're technically
They were like
teens.
kids, right? That's what I said to him.
They were like 11. I think he says you never
Yeah.
had friends like the ones you had when you were 11.
So I'm going to give you shit about it.
Give me shit. I don't
They're
care.
kids.
You're a guest. You're
But
not
the
coming
actors
back
were
next week.
teens, And you saw it when you were a
Oh, I'll
teen?
be back. I'm taking
No,
your job.
this one was. It's so funny that this list. It's so easy for it to tip over into like coming of age films, and I definitely felt like some movies I put on one category versus the other. But you
Sure.
could make a real case that all teen movies don't have to be high school movies.
What about Denny? He was definitely a teen.
Yeah.
Even though he's dead, he would qualify this film for me. But
One of my favorite lines of all time is in that movie.
Even though he's
No
dead.
Ace, just you.
yeah. Oh God,
So great.
I love that movie. Well, yeah, you know that it's made my
Yeah.
list. But
Oh, you like that movie?
yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But yeah, Rob Reiner directed. I don't. I've read the short story "The Body" that is based on by Stephen King. I never really correlated the two until later in life when I found out that it was a short story by him. But this film is one of my favorite movies of all time, I think. And part of it is the coming of age side. Part of it is the quote you said a little bit ago about like you never have the friends you did when you were 11 or when you were a kid or whatever.
Yeah, I saw the movie when I was a kid. It made me nostalgic for being a kid while I was a kid.
While you were a kid.
Yeah, that's how powerful that movie is.
How does that happen? I mean, that's the sign of something great, right? I mean, I think...
And because of that movie, for years, my friends and I would joke. Someone would say, you guys want to go see a dead body? That was just a joke we would make. I think we were joking, actually. Oh.
Or maybe there was one. You just weren't aware of it.
That one kid was always insisting. Oh, wait a minute. Anyway, go ahead, Steve. I got some things to reconsider.
Yeah, I don't know. I just love the idea of this. It's like it's a road trip. It's a story about these four friends that are just in different parts of their lives. They obviously have their own separate problems, some more severe than others. Going on this this adventure together to find this body of another kid, a teenager. And like Kiefer Sutherland's character, the older side of the other side of the gang that's going to search for the same thing. It's just a constant feeling of suspense I felt in the movie, kind of wondering what their next adventure was. It was actually one of the first like real sci-fi, non-fantastical like adventure films that I really identified with as a teenager. In the fact that these were the kids that I could have hung out with my friends and told stories about pie eating contests where somebody threw up and thought that it was the best thing in the world, or we talk about these going and getting being chased away by the dog or dodging a train, these exciting fantastic moments that for the main character, for Will Wheaton's character, for Gordy, it was a way to detach from a life that really wasn't what he wanted it to be. And it was a way to go on this thrilling adventure with his friends and to kind of learn more about them, to learn more about himself, and to kind of be the master of that moment. And that's really what he was the whole time. River Phoenix, that's in a whole other conversation, like just incredible in this film as Chris, and Jerry O'Connell as Vern, and who is it? Corey Feldman as Teddy.
Sliders?
Jerry O'Connell, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
He turned out looking pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny that he was the fat kid in this, and that he's the only one of them who, let's not. Feldman, not in such great shape. Will Wheaton's doing whatever he's doing. River Phoenix, God rest his soul.
Right.
Jerry O'Connell, married to
John Cusack, also
Rebecca
not looking
Romaine
that great
Stamos.
these days.
Yeah.
He's married to Rebecca Romaine.
Isn't Jerry O'Connell married to Rebecca Romaine?
At some
I think
point.
she is.
They might still be. I don't know. If they have that lasting power.
What a wonderful woman.
But yeah, I don't know. Just that film is a movie that I can watch over and over again. And like a movie that I almost I get so nostalgic about watching, where I almost get overcome with not like crying emotion, but you have a feeling in your body of just the moments that these kids experience. Even if I didn't experience the same thing as a kid, there's something that I can kind of liken to it. Like that moment of telling a story, that moment of realizing that your friend had a bigger problem than you realized. Or that you kind of looked up to him and you realized that he wasn't really as strong as he kind of put on, which is Gordy to Chris's relationship. And then the epilogue with Richard Dreyfuss's narration and seeing where he really is in his life and what he's writing about, and we find out about what happens to these characters. Just a crazy emotional ride for me in that movie, and just a movie that I love. And even though it may not be the expected teen movie, I throw it in there because that coming of age piece is something I always like into it as well. So
I will pick as my next film a movie that was tough to say because I didn't want to just pick movies that came out when I was a kid. So, and I didn't want to just pick John Hughes movies. So I'm sorry, Ferris Bueller.
But why, John?
Just because it becomes a little too obvious, I'm sorry, Ferris Bueller. A poster up on the wall.
This is getting Walkered again.
Boom, boom. Oh yeah. But I just, I couldn't completely leave Ferris in the cold, so I decided I'd go with a movie from 1999, directed by Alexander Payne.
Nice.
Election, which has Matthew Broderick playing a teacher who is sort of it's almost like, even though it's not an actual sequel to Ferris Bueller, I read where they were kind of playing around with the idea that this could be the future of Ferris. Like that guy who had seemed to have this bright future and could kind of get himself into any situation he wanted to be in. What if things kind of crashed and burned for him and he became this bitter high school teacher who cannot stand to see this really ambitious student kind of steamroll everybody, and when he finds out that she's running unopposed for is it student council president or something like that, for student body president, he just can't stand it, and so he basically sets up a dummy candidate to run against her, played by Chris Klein, who is hilarious in this. It's just a movie that takes that look at high school with a slightly more adult, a little bit more bitter, a little bit more cynical view, but it's still a movie that's got real stakes, and the characters, like Matthew Broderick's character, gets more and more in over his head with his efforts to try to stop this girl from succeeding, and she's just kind of an unstoppable force. Reese Witherspoon is amazing as Tracy Flick. I mean, that is, everybody can think of somebody like that person, that overachiever type person. And we've all sort of secretly wished for them to fall flat on their face. So I think it's very easy to tap into this man who you can tell, it's like, it's a bad idea, though, for an adult to strike out against a kid and to make his life all about. And he basically kind of destroys his life to try to take down this girl. Right up to the very last scene of this movie, though, the bitter comedy is just so effective. And I think Matthew Broderick's great. I think the supporting cast is great. It's a movie that really feels... sometimes you look at a movie, could you rewatch it? And this is a movie that I could rewatch in a heartbeat, and I'd probably laugh, just as much as I did the first time. So, cool. Election from 1999.
Mine is okay. So, this movie was originally supposed to star Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff, and I'm glad that it didn't happen. All right, so I had never seen a teenage movie that combined hip hop culture with randomness, and it was done in a way that wasn't like over sexualized, at least the first one. And it was fun, and it had a lot of cool things that I experienced at like these situations. House Party. Fucking House Party.
Is that why you were laughing? Because you knew it was going to be
I felt it coming.
House Party did something to me when I was a kid, because there were so many movies that were like teenage movies, and they had characters that I couldn't necessarily really align with, right? So this movie came along, and these two characters were ridiculous, yes, but these situations were so fun. It seemed like it was fun, and I'd had a lot of situations that were similar, and I thought it was really cool, at least the first one. In terms of what it captured, just the fun and the innocence and seeing a pretty girl and wanting to do something, like flirting with her and not knowing what to say. And
should I picture you with a high top fade?
Yeah,
watching this film,
super intimidating girls, because they were like, that's one thing that really weirded me out when I was in middle school. When I was a freshman, all the like girls in 8th grade dressed so adulty. I don't know. It was like form-fitting things and legs, and that stuff made me feel so weird.
They had legs?
Legs showing.
Did they know how to use them?
It was at dances, yes. And that stuff weirded me out. Now it's like, man.
Did you catch the ZZ Top reference? Okay. I just realized if I didn't point out that was a ZZ Top reference, it may seem like I said something really creepy about young women's legs. Did they know how to use them, Ronald? Tell me about this more. Hey, after the podcast, you and me.
Since
we'll talk off mic about this. Yeah.
It's a House Party.
What about the sequels?
They got really raunchy, and I like that they got raunchy, but it was too much of a departure from the first one. And actually, that was one of the things I saw. Like, I watched a random movie about a documentary about Kid and Play, like Where Are They Now? And the director was talking about how much they had changed because they wanted to maintain this cool. Oh man. Another movie that fits in the teenager genre. All right, that's kind of in the same hip hoppy sort of thing. If you ever get a chance to see this movie, please watch it. I don't know if you'll like it as much as I liked it, but ATL.
Oh yeah, with
T.I. and oh man, you talking about a movie that really like skating. Skating was a big part of my life.
Roller skating,
not
boarding.
Boarding towards,
but not with the ATL.
But not an ATL. But like every Friday we used to go to two places, Shake and Bake, which is horrible near North Avenue. Don't ever go there. And then there was Skateland.
To our one UK listener, don't ever come to the United States and go to
ever
North
go there.
Avenue.
We're all opening up our calendar apps and canceling our plans to go to Shake and Bake on North Avenue.
Then there
right
was
now.
Skateland that was like in the Parkville area, and that was it. Like it was like
Was that what they call the jump off?
the jump. It was the jump off, and it was crazy because it was like
I think I've been there before.
We could have been there at the same time,
I think we
Ronald.
probably were.
We could have shared a couple skate.
because I liked it because like everybody, all races were there, and it was like the music was incredible. The girls.
They had legs.
I couldn't. They had legs.
Well, just a quick question about their legs.
I couldn't skate.
Did they know how to use them?
They don't. They knew how to use them.
So when Ronald brings up ATL while he's talking about House Party, is that what it feels like to be John Walkered? Because I feel unclean. I feel used.
I double whammied that one.
I feel like someone stuck their thumb in my butt while we were having sex.
the dry too, just a
Yeah.
dry, ashy thumb in your ass.
So descriptive.
That's a different. We need a different term for
I don't know
that.
who you think I'm making time with.
Last night,
Usually ashy.
I did that on purpose. So that was so.
This
funny.
is how his stand up has gone. It's been more of like just like a, like he's basically coming to like the realizations of
about
what happened
weird
in his
stuff.
life.
Yeah. So that was fun.
All right, what's your next pick, Lauren?
I need to find some new friends.
You find a new podcast.
My next pick, I was not a teen when I saw this. I was older. 2004, Mean Girls. And I think this movie is really funny. I feel like a lot of people think this movie is really funny, like adults, men,
I don't think
women.
you're alone there. I don't think it was like an underrated film by any means.
I know. I'm just saying. It's as an almost 30-year-old, I still find it extremely funny. I just watched it yesterday. I watched a lot of teen movies yesterday. Obviously, I had nothing better to do. But
I like
anyway,
that you did your research. I appreciate that.
I did do my research. I didn't want John to say I could never come back. But
Lay the hammer down.
Anyway,
All right.
anyway, Mean Girls. So I like.
No, your evaluation will show that you came in with your research. Yes.
Let's hear it.
I liked Mean Girls watching it as an adult because even though some of the stuff is like way too far fetched, like at the end when everybody's like in a massive fight in the hallway and all that crazy stuff. I don't know if you guys know this, but girls are mean. Even nice girls.
Not the case.
We are mean to each other, terrible to each other, and I feel like this movie.
Did you just classify yourself as a nice girl?
I could be on either end of the spectrum, John. I mean, there's days.
Pick a day.
There's days.
Pick a day, John.
You know, but even the nicest of girls, we have a mean streak. Like no matter what, whether you're openly mean, like Regina George, or you are, you know, a Katie Heron, and you don't realize you can be mean until something happens. But the stuff like some of the things Regina would do, like when she tells somebody like, "Oh my God, I love that outfit. Where did you get it?" And when the person walks away, it's like, that is the ugliest fucking thing I've ever seen. Like that happens still in my life now as a 30-year-old.
So what you're saying is Mean Girls applies
Mean Girls
throughout life.
becomes mean women. Yeah. Yeah. We judge each other. We're horrible. I'm just going to let that
That's
stick
not
out.
news to any of us here.
No, it's not news, but it is nice. It is nice to hear someone confirm.
He's admit it. Yeah.
It's nice to have a nice girl here in the basement.
So not only do I not have Steve as a friend anymore, but my girlfriends that are listening to this, let's be honest, they're not listening to this. But, but if they did listen, if they did listen, they don't want to be friends with me anymore.
No, I think Mean Girls is a good choice. Like I actually, we were talking before about like Clueless and Mean Girls before we recorded, and I think that it's kind of like a nice refresher of Clueless, a different kind of, I guess, comedy. You know.
Yeah.
But it kind of does like revitalize that type of teenage high school you know, or not even really well, a little bit of romance, but
Tina Fey wrote it, right?
yeah.
I mean, it's just. I mean, it's.
It's very.
You need say nothing more than that as far as like why is this movie funny? I mean, she's just an incredible writer, and she's great at dialogue and great at writing like funny character revealing jokes.
That's a great movie. The weird part about Mean Girls, especially lately,
Tim Meadows.
Yeah,
Very weird.
So weird in that movie. Is that Mean Girls has become like the blueprint for pretty much every sort of like. Have you ever seen that show Awkward and like RJ Berger and all of those shows? Well, they're primarily MTV shows, and some of the like I don't know, are those UPN shows or some
Like
of
what?
those? A lot of those shows are like based on this sort of
That kind of
concept.
world.
Yeah, that kind of world that Tina Fey kind of created, and it's pretty amazing. Definitely one of the best teenage movies I've ever seen. one of the funniest, definitely,
Yeah.
if not the funniest.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the funniest, and it's like a good, like Steve said, a good revitalization for like a new up and coming.
Yeah, like very female, a female-driven comedy where really the guys are just like, I mean, they're
Tim
non-factors. Yeah, Tim Meadows, right. Like, they just kind of are there, where with Clueless, like, some of the guys played a little more prominently, but I think that, like, even for Mean Girls, like, even kind of not paving a way, but just, like, kind of clicking refresh on the screen for, like, a movie like Easy A that came out a little bit after that, which I thought was really good as well.
That was a great movie.
Same
That was
kind
great.
of thing.
That was one I didn't see, but it's like there were 3 or 4 when I was looking at the list of just teen movies that if you go on Wikipedia, they're categorized by decade.
Yeah.
And that was one where I realized there's a lot of movies that I've heard in recent years were good. Like that one was one for sure that I never heard anyone say anything bad about it.
Yeah,
and it just kind of
You
seemed
should
like
totally see
It's
it.
really good.
Yeah.
It's in that same kind of world, I think, too. There's like kind of Ronald was saying, it kind of set it back up to say, okay, let's go into this world and make some comedy out of this, and that's what a lot of shows and movies kind of have done since then.
It's very self-aware. I think that's one of the things that kind of makes that movie and movies that are great like it so good is that it's almost like so self-aware that it's making fun of itself, making fun of things, which is...
But it's also depicting a world where there's all these cliques and there's all these people, but they do kind of interact. I mean, even with the kind of Mean Girl stuff that you were just talking about, Lauren, it's like these people are sort of polite to each other's faces in some weird way, so it's like these
Well,
people
you have to be polite to
these people are
somebody's face.
coexisting, but I'm just saying these people are coexisting. It's like it's not like there's a bully that gets taken down and there's a good guy and there's a bad guy. It's like even in these movies, the kind of nasty kids that are sort of mean, you're supposed to sort of see that it's almost like a natural relationship, that you have you've got the losers and you've got the cool kids, and you're not really supposed to think that the cool kids are villains necessarily. Do you know what I mean? You're supposed to just kind of think this is the ecosystem of a high school, and everyone kind of has their little niche, which is one of the things back to Spectacular Now. I love when the conversation they're having about everybody having their thing, and she says, "Well, people, you
I
have
think
more
people
than
are
one
more than
thing."
one.
And I think that was one of the things about that movie that really seemed like a comment on teen movies in general. Is that that concept that you're either one of the cool kids or one of the uncool kids, and that most people are actually kind of a mix.
Sure. Good pick.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Good pick. Way to round it out.
Yay.
My final pick, and probably one of my, this is the pick on this list that is that high school movie for me. Saw this movie going into my senior year of high school. It's like kind of encapsulates everything that I wanted high school to be. Like the party that I always wanted to go to, but honestly never did. And all the characters that, you could probably point out and say, I knew that guy, or, that guy was there. But it's 1998's Can't Hardly Wait.
Fuck!
Did you have another pick?
No, he was going to throw it out there, I guess. I don't know.
I definitely have that.
What's that?
I definitely had that.
Lauren, I feel like Ronald's showing off for you.
No, seriously.
Because it's like he's pulling out all of his Ronald tricks, the non sequiturs, the
showing
sudden
off for you.
exclamations, followed by a slow stare, quiet stare.
I really have that at the top of my...
Well, then why didn't you've gone through your 3. Why didn't you say it?
I went through my... Has this been 3 already?
Yeah, this is on our third one.
That's it, buddy.
You can have it as an honorable mention. I have it as an honorable mention too.
You could just
You
talk
just let
with
me
Steve
finish,
about
and then you could also say, good pick, Steve. So, yeah, Can't Hardly Wait. I literally saw this movie at least 6 times that summer. And there are friends that can attest to that if you guys
in
need
theaters,
proof.
you paid
In
to see it
theaters.
6 times.
In theaters.
You spent $60.
In 1998, it wasn't $10 a head, so let's keep perspective here, Lauren. It was just such a fun time. Like, that year going into 99, there were tons of these high school comedies coming out, but this was like the one for me. Everything we talked about before about like the soundtracks, I mean, this soundtrack is ridiculous. If you were a fan of 90s music and going through high school in the mid to late 90s, everything is on the soundtrack that came out. But then if you're good, you make your own playlist of every song featured in the movie, and that's even better.
And if you're friends with Steve on your birthday, you get a copy of that.
Yeah, you do. You're welcome.
You
You're
get
welcome.
a copy of every song that's been in
You're welcome.
Can't Hardly Wait.
Don't act like it wasn't the best gift you got that year.
Best gift I got
So
that
Third
year.
Eye Blind,
I
Smash
just
Mouth.
celebrated a birthday this summer. I don't remember getting any.
It's check your spam filter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you Dropbox it?
Why didn't you give me I got an actual disc.
Oh.
I got a physical copy.
Well, I
We're a little
told-
more.
I told Steve I don't like
He
discs.
doesn't like disc,
He knows I don't
Lauren.
like
Shut up.
discs. What are you talking about? I mean, it's
We're a
just-
little technology savvy. I didn't want to leave any room for error.
I have an Apple computer too, people.
Okay, so yeah, this movie. So Jennifer Love Hewitt. like number one forever on my laminated list of celebrity beauties. Whatever,
She's
John.
your number one on the list.
So
Lard,
laminated
for
list
sure.
does
Lard.
laminated list imply that you're actually whacking off to the list and having
You
to
got to
wipe
keep it
off?
clean, John.
I just,
Just the list alone.
We've
Just
had conversations before. And
the
there's
side
been
of
two
these
other
women's
ladies,
names.
but you never said number. So Jennifer,
No, Jennifer Love
still
Hewitt,
number one.
if you truly
Gotcha.
know me, always will forever be number one. So just her involvement in this movie, obviously, like I loved her in Party of Five and Mickey Mouse Club and things. No, Kids
Incorporated?
That was a tie.
Kids
So
Incorporated.
yeah. So Jennifer Love Hewitt in this film as Amanda Beckett, Ethan Embry, Preston Myers. I mean, the cast is huge. A lot of people that are like bigger in comedy now, like Donald Faison was in it. Seth Green is in it. Breckin Meyer, Jason Segel. A lot of people that are in smaller roles, like, they're big now. But I don't know, something about this movie, it was like just, I know I said it already, but it's like everything that you wanted that big party, that senior year, graduating, the night of, the party where you finally go for the girl that you've wanted since the day you met her in freshman year. And, it's just the circumstances that lead to it, prevent it, allow it, whatever you want to pull out of this movie. It's not a great film if you want to like talk about filmmaking, Mr. Walker, but no. But I'm telling you right now, this movie is like one of my all-time favorites. Quoted all the time. I've seen it way too many times.
trying not to show disdain on my face right now.
You're sweating, John. I can see you're fighting it too hard.
Oh God, the disdain is showing.
Yeah, just an awesome soundtrack, and the movie is like it's on a lot of top lists for like teen movies. It didn't really do that great. I feel like if I had been a teenager reacting to a movie like Mean Girls or Easy A, it's the same kind of thing. Timing was everything with this for me. Like this was like it was the summer before my senior year, so it was like, oh dude, this is fucking what's gonna happen. This is what's up next year. And so obviously it wasn't what was up next year, but it was just really great. A lot of great. I mean, Seth Green's character in the movie as like the ultimate white boy who thinks he's not white. I think there was a term for that, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was.
What was it called,
Please,
Ronald?
I don't know. He quoted Tupac. I remember that.
According to the Wikipedia site, which is wikipedia.com, I think it's a term called...
You can't say that.
I can say that. Can I say that?
No, please don't.
I can't say that?
I hate that term. It makes my balls feel weird. Such a weird term.
Anyway, Seth Green's character, I thought he was awesome. I mean,
Yeah,
he's probably the one you quote the most from this movie, or at least my friends and I. Just hilarious, and I really
He's
like...
a young Caucasian man with identity issues.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, okay. That works.
Yeah.
I really want to say this word.
Please
But
don't.
anyway, okay, so but the thing I kind of like to connect my picks is that I think that like Preston Myers was very much like Lloyd Dobler. He was very much like the guy that was, kind of had a lot of friends and like no enemies. Like everybody knew him, and you see that at this party they go to. Everybody knows who Preston is. Like when she goes around asking who's Preston, and everybody's got their opinion of him, and it's like always like he's a nice guy. And it's just the girl that never knew about him or never was aware of him. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. I just love the way the movie ends, the soundtrack, and just a great, the quintessential high school comedy for me is Can't Hardly Wait, period. End of sentence.
End of sentence. That's what a period means.
Yep, that's what it is right there.
Well, I'm glad that you ended your list with a movie that's all about how fun high school can be. Because my last movie is not a fun movie at all. It is funny. It's darkly funny. But it's one where I didn't realize until... I definitely thought of it on this list. And it was one that I almost considered not putting on because I think this is technically... These kids might be a little younger than the high school setting that you would picture. But I think technically... Are we considering 12 as a teen, maybe? Maybe now we would call that person
Again,
a
we
tween.
can round up.
Yeah, we can round
12
up.
teen.
But from 1995, Welcome to the Dollhouse.
Oh man, what a great
Written and
movie.
directed by Todd
I
Solondz.
haven't seen that movie in so long.
Probably still my favorite Todd Solondz movie. I think that or how do you say his name? Is it Solondz?
Sure.
But there was something about the way this movie captured that. We were talking about it a little bit earlier. That kind of in betweenness of you're not a kid anymore, and yet no one's really taking you seriously yet as someone who's getting close to being an adult. So right at that middle school age. There's a scene early in this movie where she's been chastised by her parents and she's in a room And her friend comes to visit her, and her sister basically answers the door and tells her friend, no, she can't come out to play. She's being punished. And it's her friend, she's like a 7th grade girl, but her best friend is a 5th grader, and they have a special persons club or something like that, that they meet in her backyard. And she's just, if you just take all the awkwardness of that age and then you add everything on top of that could make someone's existence harder. I mean, she's just an incredibly awkward character, but it was a very...
ScarJo.
It's an interesting... It's not ScarJo.
It isn't?
It's Heather Matarazzo.
It's Heather Matarazzo.
Ghost World. I think I confuse those movies all the time.
But with this character, there's a scene where she's just sitting on the edge of her bed. It's a strange couple of movies to confuse, by the way.
That too.
But she's sitting on the edge of her bed, and she's just kind of clutching the edge of the mattress, just sitting there in her room. And this look on her face, she's like this little girl, but she's got this intensity about her. And I think we can all remember that you're never more of a prisoner than when you're like 12 or 13 because you're old enough to have these kind of worldly thoughts and to be inquisitive about things, but you're still totally under your parents' thumb, in most cases. And so it's just, and then you take on top of that being kind of an uncool kid. She's extremely unpopular. No one is really nice to her in the whole story. It could be seen as a really dark movie where you feel like you're just laughing at this character, but somehow the movie manages to make you identify with her rather than kind of feeling like she's just a loser. I mean, it's definitely, again, she's not like a character you would choose to identify with, but there's something about her, the way that she sort of, there's almost like an innocence to her that carries her through all this just hatred and mistreatment and cruelty she has to suffer. On top of that, there's some really funny pieces in this movie. I do think some of the acting is really naturalistic, and I think the weird, like the boy she ends up kind of in a relationship with starts off just threatening to rape her and keep telling her that he's going to rape her, which is so over the top and crazy. But then what he actually does when they finally meet and they're alone is he just wants to kiss her. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a 12-year-old idiot too, So I don't know. I thought this movie really captured something that a lot of other films don't want to look at, which is just how dark and twisted it can be to be a kid. And yeah, Welcome to the Dollhouse from 1995. I heard that he killed Wiener Dog off, like there's another movie later that he made where they're attending her funeral, and we find out in that movie supposedly that she got pregnant and killed herself.
It's like Dark Horse,
which to me feels like it makes this movie a little too dark in retrospect.
Yeah,
like I like
if you
to
find that out
at the end of this movie. I would like to think that we're allowed to believe maybe she gets out of this mess, but I mean, I guess that's just not Todd Solondz' aesthetic, is to say this character got out of this mess. But this movie, taken on its own terms, I think is a really interesting and unique movie, and I still don't think he's topped it.
Cool. So are we gonna review?
There's no need for review, I don't think.
Does anybody have any also rans just to throw out there?
Ronald obviously does because he didn't realize he already put his 3 out there.
Can I rattle these off?
Yeah, rattle them off.
Cruel
Can you
Intention.
rattle them off?
Cruel Intention.
Loves
Boom
it.
roasted. Rushmore. Boom roasted. She's All That, which is up there with Can't Hardly Wait to Me. And Submarine.
Oh, okay.
Submarine. A good coming of age movie. Parent Trap. Were they teenagers? Or was that middle school?
Maybe even elementary school. I don't know.
Fuck.
I don't know.
That's not the same.
I'm just kidding.
That's not the same. Yeah, so those are my rando picks.
What about you, Lauren?
All right.
And boy, sorry.
So I had Can't Hardly Wait on my honorable mention. 10 Things I Hate About You. I almost went a different direction with my theme, and it would have been 10 Things I Hate About You, Romeo and Juliet, and the movie O, and obviously they're all, modernized Shakespeare. But
I love Julia Stiles.
I didn't want to do that because I thought Romeo and Juliet, it is on my honorable mention list as a teen movie, and that movie was one of the most, I feel like that's one of the movies when I was that young that actually like made me love movies at the time. Mm-hmm. So I had to add it on my honorable mention, but I didn't want to do like a whole thing about that.
Right.
Now and Then, and did you guys ever see Now and Then?
Yeah.
No. I've never seen it. Good?
It's kind of like Stand By Me for girls.
Absolutely.
Modernized. It's that same like adventure summer. They're kind of like they're teenagers, I'm pretty sure, but they're like young teenagers just going through like a lot of different hardships. All 4 of them have different things, and it also shows them as adults like coming back together. One of them's having a baby, and they all like have a pact to come to get back together. What else is on here? Empire Records. I freaking love Empire Records. I mean, I don't have anything else to say besides I love that movie. And I also, I'm a sucker for a dance movie. I love anything having to do with dances. I do not discriminate, but Save the Last Dance and Bring It On and like Step Up, any of those movies. I'm a sucker. I'll
Julia
see it.
Stiles, Ronald. Save
Julia
Last
Stiles,
Dance.
man.
It's your girl.
She has dead eyes, but she's such a beautiful woman to me.
You can get past the dead eyes.
She's just very like.
They can't see your eyes.
Is that what attracts you to her?
I don't know. She's beautiful.
Did you like her on Dexter?
Yes.
Yeah, she was pretty.
Yes.
My last
Wasn't she
honorable-
coked up in a movie? I feel like in that drug transport movie, Transporter. Transporter.
Lauren, this is what happens.
Where am I? Is
he-
this real life?
He's up past his bedtime. He's,
He gets sleepy.
His new job, he can't
it's
be out past 10.
a little bit loopy after like the hour and 15-minute mark.
She was a drug
Mule?
drug movie. It began with a T.
Traffic?
Traffic.
She
She was in that, right?
I didn't even see
Yes,
it.
she was.
Yes, she was.
That's
You got us, Ronald.
Man, when it comes to
Point for
listing,
Ronald.
irrelevant Julia Stiles films, you have won.
There's no better than Ronald. So yeah.
I didn't get to say my last
What's
one.
the last
Easy
one?
A.
Easy.
I would
Okay,
say,
now
we
go.
talked about that.
Now it's your turn.
Ones that haven't been mentioned. I had The Girl Next Door with
Oh,
Alicia
man.
Cuthbert and Emil Hirsch. Kind of sort of up there with Can't Hardly Wait for me. The American Pie films, mainly
Oh, yeah,
American
yeah.
Pie, the first one, but the same high school geared ones. I had Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Absolutely.
One of the more recent ones for me, and I was really fighting for it, was Perks of Being a Wallflower. That
Great
movie knocked
movie.
me out last year.
Yeah, it was
I don't
good.
even understand how, but
I don't even know how.
The Outsiders, Some Kind of Wonderful you mentioned, John.
Yeah.
Ferris you mentioned, Dead Poet Society, and
Oh, yeah.
Dazed and Confused.
Oh, Dazed and Confused is a great one.
I forgot to say that.
I forget. That was an
Yeah, Dazed and Confused might be.
amazing movie.
Yeah. Wow. I feel.
I
bad
didn't
that
even think
didn't
about
even-
that.
That's
That almost made it.
That,
It
that
almost
probably
made
would have been on
three.
my list just because it's another. It's such a snapshot. I mean, it's such a great cross section of characters
Yeah.
and yeah.
There's just too many movies. It's not
And
your
Batman
fault.
gets paint dumped on him in it. Movies, yeah. Ferris Bueller. I feel bad that no one picked it, but John Hughes definitely got his day in the sun.
Yes.
But let's just say that Ferris Bueller was one of the more like inventively made movies.
Sure.
That when you see that movie, when I first saw that film, there was something about the fact that it was made so well, and it was a teen movie. They really pulled out the stops with all the production tricks and stuff. It really is. I think it might age better than a lot of the other movies of its era, just because it was funny and fast and kind of seemed to take place in this alternate universe. It suffers a little bit from that thing where all the parents are idiots,
Idiots,
but
yeah.
that's kind of part of the joke. I had to at least flirt with the idea of putting Superbad on my list. I thought that was a movie that really
Yeah.
captured that end of school feeling, that friendship that you have, and that question of can you carry that friendship forward once you are no longer going to school together. I thought that movie had a real sweetness at its core. And I think, if anything, maybe the backlash or the lack of mention of that in recent years has to do with just kind of how oversaturated we feel like maybe we've been with Jonah Hill and Michael Cera and all those guys. But that movie still seems to me to exist before that was the case, and they were just interesting young actors. Another movie from, let's see what year this came out. In 1987. This was like an HBO classic when I was a kid, but I saw it. I never saw it in the theaters, but it definitely was one that I watched a lot on cable, and that's 3 O'Clock High, a movie by Phil Joannou. He was the guy that he directed a lot of rock videos. It's a great movie where this guy is basically, in the opening of the movie, there's a new student at his school, and everyone's talking about this kid. He's a delinquent who has known to be very violent, and he comes to the new school, and our kind of nerdy hero accidentally runs afoul of him, like in the first scene, and they're supposed to have a fight. And the whole movie takes place over the course of this day, where at 3 o'clock this kid knows he's going to get his ass kicked in front of the whole school.
Did that involve a library?
He spends the whole movie trying to weasel out of it.
Did that involve a library and somebody getting punched? And...
Yeah.
Yes, that movie is incredible.
It's great. And
I
it's
remember that
actually
scene.
shot really well and shot really. It's another one
That
that's
was the
directed
name of. I
interestingly.
never knew the name of that movie.
Yeah, 3 O'Clock High. That's a great one.
Because I always remember the
Yeah.
The library.
library and the falling.
Yeah, that's like his. He's got
It's
a
weird
friend-
that there's a library. In a
Yeah, the
high school
nerdy guy
movie.
who's running from the bully, and that he's got like a big friend that tries to clean up the problem for him. Basically
Yeah.
says you're going to leave him alone, and then the bully like flattens the guy's kind of.
I
guardian
never
friend.
knew. That's. I gotta write that down. I never knew that was the name of that movie.
Oh, I forgot one. You said a big guy, small guy. Angus.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I watched it recently. Love that movie. But I was gonna say to throw in the Dazed and Confused. I think Matthew McConaughey's character in Dazed and Confused is probably one of my favorite movie characters of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Wooderson.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe you can grab a soundbite. Maybe send us out with that.
Alright,
Yeah.
yeah.
That one and the one about what he loves about high school girls.
I mean,
those quotes are like top 5.
And
for
it's
me.
like Matthew McConaughey does great work. I mean, he'll be great in things, but not always, but he definitely can be great. And recently he's had a pretty good run, but I think all the affection people have for him, no matter how many crappy romantic comedies he made with Kate Hudson, you could always go back to Wooderson and just love the guy. It's like, just a little dose of Wooderson and I'm back to loving McConaughey. Yeah.
He only made one crappy movie with Kate Hudson.
What was
the
that?
other one was delightful.
What was the crappy one?
Fool's Gold. I like Fool's
But How to
Gold.
Lose a Guy in 10 Days? You didn't like that? Love it.
I like Fool's
May
Gold.
not have seen it. You know what?
Ronald
I
likes Fool's
did.
Gold.
No, I may
That
be
movie's
guilty.
horrible,
You know what?
Ronald.
You've caught me.
Well,
Lauren. I may
hold
be guilty
on.
of having profiled that movie as not my type of thing and not
Fool's
watching
Gold.
it.
Steve digs it.
I love that movie.
So I should see it?
How to Lose a Guy? Oh, it's
Yeah.
great. It's
And
one of the
did
better.
it help you lose a guy?
What's that?
Did it help you out with losing a guy?
Multiples.
Multiples?
Yeah.
Fool's Gold was not that bad.
Let's go.
Not that bad.
Ronald, it's right
I mean,
there
it
in the
wasn't
title
worst
of the
movie
film.
Ever.
It's
Kevin Hart
horrible.
was the villain in that movie.
It's horrible.
I'll watch it again, Ronald. I'll try
Watch
to-
it again.
I'm gonna give it another look-see.
That was another HBO movie. HBO
Save
used to
your time.
hit people over the head with that
I'm
movie.
gonna do it for Ronald. You guys always gang up on
What's the
him.
one
I'm
he did
gonna
with
do
Sarah
it.
Jessica Parker?
Failure to launch.
Oh my god, that
Not
was horrible
good.
too.
Yeah, that was bad.
He struck out with those.
What man? Matthew McConaughey hit this pocket of shitty movies. It was.
And then last year
And
he was
Sahara.
in,
Remember
last year he was
Sahara?
in like 4 great ones.
I
you
didn't
know?
see Sahara.
That was
bad.
like his big. That was like what. That's kind of where he like.
Yeah.
Like he was peaking, but then that's kind of where he went down. Like that was like the big, like desert, like adventure film with Steve Zahn. I don't know.
Oh,
remember this at
yeah,
all?
Steve Zahn.
That's when he was just
I
like,
love Steve Zahn. By the
I'd
way.
rather be off naked playing bongo.
Yeah, 'cause that's it.
But yeah, so I think one thing we've shown tonight is that a criminal, an athlete, a princess, a basket case, and a brain could get together.
I think it's one too many, isn't it?
There's 5.
That's 5.
There's 4 of us.
Oh.
The 5th man is
Wait
somewhere.
a minute,
in
which
this
one of
movie.
us, now that I'm thinking about it, which one of us is the criminal? Which one of us is the athlete?
Well, obviously I'm the princess.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I can do double duty as basket case and brain. If I have to.
I'm
So-
a principal.
Is the principal? So you're not even here.
Oh goodness.
You don't think we have any potential at all? You think we're just a bunch of wastoids?
He was just mean to them.
Yeah.
That was
That's
weird.
why he was so great, though.
He was such an asshole. Is that really how people act? Business is shit.
Is that a quote from the movie? That's a direct quote, I think.
You fucking pieces of shit.
You may have
It's
been,
obvious
you
that
may have
you
been,
should
Ronald,
be the
Ronald,
principal.
You may have been watching the reggaeton remix of Breakfast Club. Did I pronounce reggaeton
man.
correctly?
Yeah, I think you're
Okay.
Next time I'm asked to be on the podcast, I'm gonna prepare some voices. Ronald does voices.
He does do voices.
Too many.
He has like 3 though. It's
all
that
very
voice.
similar.
It's Elmo and
David.
Keith David. Those are our monies.
Oh my god! Speaking of Keith David, I'm playing Saints Row. Have you heard of that video game?
No.
So in the future, there's this gang that like is like legitimate. You play the main character, but the vice president of the United States is Keith David.
As he should be.
In real, like he plays himself in
If
the video.
there's anything that this podcast would ever produce, it should be 2 things. That film studios should pay Ronald for the slogans on their movie posters.
Yes.
And that games should obviously pay him to write the synopsis for their game for the back
Yeah.
of the box. Because if they did, I mean, what game would not succeed with describing what it is?
The beginning sentence is this fucking, and then gang or group or school, this fucking.
You can basically just sell that as like a template. You can license it out. Like you can use this for your game
It'll work every time.
every time.
Every time.
All right. So let's wrap this up.
Well, thank you for joining us, Lauren.
Thanks,
having
Lauren.
Thank you so
me.
much
fun.
for coming.
Thank you.
We'll see you in another 73 episodes.
I thought we were doing another episode
74.
right now. It's not that late. We should do
It's
it.
way past Ronald's
It's way
bedtime.
past
Do you
my
see how he's
bedtime.
acting right now?
Loopy. Loopy.
So some awesome movies. I mean, you guys definitely threw out some of the other ones that I would have had on my list. So I'm glad you did that.
Yeah.
Allowed me to say some other ones. These are some of my favorite movies. I mean, this is one of my favorite genres. So it's cool to be able to talk about it.
This is a fun episode.
And thank you, Spectacular Now, for being so damn good and giving us the idea to talk about other great teen movies.
Yes. Well, someone's got to say it.
I'm waiting for Steve to say it.
I thought somebody's gonna lead me into it.
Well, you know what we always say.
As always, you made our day.
Bye.
Rest in peace, Wiener Dog.
I go crazy.